All right. Well, welcome everybody. So glad you are here. We are on team time. It is Monday, June 10th. Who can believe it? It is always a good time to be in community and connection with each and every one of you. We thought we'd get started tonight by talking about when the last time that we have felt refreshed. So I want you to take a minute, maybe even close your eyes and think about when was the last time that you remember feeling refreshed? To me, it puts a smile on my face to even think about it. But I want you to think about it, and I want you to put in the chat what happened to make you feel refreshed. And I'm going to open up the chat so we can see some of your answers. For me, one of the best ways, I'll go first, that I feel refreshed is through water. So like getting in the pool or, taking a bubble bath or things like that always make me feel refreshed. Oh, yeah. Same for Frank Davis. I love that. And Lauren said today, man, she went kayaking with her family. So family and kayaking, both of those things. Vicky says laughing. I love that, laughing with a friend. Julie is hiking, paddleboarding, anything with the beach. Walking the beach at sunset was Michelle. At the pool, water. Man, water seems to be the thread with all of us. Weekend at the pool, great workout, hot shower, beach. Okay, now I want you to take a minute and think about what feelings come when you think about being refreshed. So we talked about what happened, what refreshed you, and then what does that feel like to be refreshed? Peace, it's a good one. Relaxation, peaceful, calm, gentleness, clean. I love that. Energized, rejuvenated, gratitude, joy, relaxed. Man, those are some great, calm, grateful, joy, rejuvenated, calm, grateful. Man, what beautiful words. I can't think of a better way to start our call tonight than being from that place of being refreshed and remembering what that feels like to be refreshed. We have one of our very own who is coming on this call feeling refreshed, and that is Michelle. Michelle, you got to see Dr. A this weekend, and hearing from you, I know you definitely felt refreshed. Would you come off of mute and share with us a little bit about what that was like and what your takeaways were?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I was just going to put Saturday refreshed because I got to see Dr. A and Dan Bell and a couple of other people. And it was actually a very small setting. There was really only about 100 people attending the conference. And I was surprised at that. So it was really like this intimate conversation with them. And just Dr. A always speaks from the heart, speaks the truth. And it was something I really needed to hear again. I've been on the struggle bus. I've been doing what I call the 2, the 3, the 7, making up every other kind of configuration of plan than what it should be. So I was really ready to kind of hear his words of wisdom, and just that they come from the heart just really always hits me. So he started off talking about that we have gremlins. He's attaching it to that movie Gremlins, and our gremlins are fear and lethargy, and how we have to. And he was like, "I'm in New York, so I can curse." He was like, "You have to kick the shit out of them." And he was just, speaking from that place we've all been to when fear sets in and when we get tired and complacent and I don't want to measure and weigh and do what I know I need to do to be healthy. And it was really about you are in control of the life you want, the health you want, and what are you going to do about it? So 3 things that he kind of was really focusing that hit with me was the negative thoughts, and you have to turn them consciously to positive. And, it happened to me last night. I mentioned about walking at the beach, but I was home alone. I thought my daughter was going to be here for dinner. And I'm like, oh, I'm bored. I'm alone. And I was like, wait a minute. I live 3 miles from the beach. It's a gorgeous night. Turn this around and say, wow, I get to walk during sunset. And aren't I lucky that I don't have to worry about the dishes or cooking for anybody? It's me. So I'm really trying that. The next thing was have a mantra every day. And I'm a big Mel Robbins fan. So something that she said, it's not that deep. That's kind of been my mantra. And then consciously aware, relax, release, let things go. And I really have just kind of found refreshed, rejuvenated. And it was a really great opportunity again. I love the live in-person events. I think it's like it just is a different whole atmosphere, energy in the room, and everybody kind of commented on that. So if you ever get a chance to see them in live, or if they come around to your neck of the woods, I highly, highly recommend it. It was just really helped me get back on the path I want to get back on. So
That
thank
is
you.
awesome. That is awesome. Thank you, Michelle, for sharing with us and inspiring us. And I'm thinking convention for those that qualified, that would be the next time that you'll be able to see Dr. A. So I know that'll be great. So if you haven't registered yet, do it. So wanted to share that. I love, Michelle, how you shared about how you shifted your vocabulary, the way you were thinking about things. I heard this phrase called vocab rehab, and it really stuck out, so I think that's something all of us probably need to do in some area or another. Thank you for sharing that. Want to give a shout out today, a coach shout out to Emily. Emily has been starting a couple of new clients lately, and sent me a text today that she's been using the Journey Kickoff video, the new one that just came out, and it has drastically changed her Journey Kickoff calls. Now they're so fast. Her clients are loving it, and she's had a great experience. So if you haven't jumped in there yet, highly recommend that you do. And Emily, congratulations to you on jumping in. All right, speaking of jumping in, Dee, you're always jumping into things. I know you've got lots to share with us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see everybody. And I have so much to share, and I'm like hoping it comes out well. Thank you, Michelle, for what you shared, kind of where you were kind of stuck, and then what Dr. A said about these thought patterns and negative loops that we get into. And I think you guys know I'm a constant learner, constantly looking to improve myself. And then what can I bring back out to the community, out to my clients, out to you guys, so that we can all move forward in whatever way that looks like to us. So it never fails that there's patterns, and there's patterns to what I hear. And so we started Fight Club, and kudos to the 31 coaches that signed up for that are committed. And we really spent our first session kind of coming to this place of, where are we? Why did we sign up for this Fight Club? Why are we still here? But like, how are we feeling emotionally? And you know what? We all need that space. We all need that ability to say how we're feeling. And the reality is, it is hard right now. I'm just not going to lie, right? Our business is different, and it is hard. And I want to promise you that what you're feeling, I'm feeling, right? But what it doesn't mean is that we get on the pity bus, that that it's sailing out to sea and it's all over. So much of it is the way that we're looking at it, acknowledging what's going on. Our business, our model, the world is constantly changing. Constantly changing. And what it requires of us is that we evolve as well. So, three things I just kind of want to bring in. I hope they come out in the order that I want it to, and I'm gonna have somebody specific share. I had a conversation with Paul Blanchard last week, because a lot of my own thoughts, let me start there, and then conversations with coaches in their mentoring sessions, and conversations with in the Fight Club group, is when we're acknowledging where we are. Many of us are remorseful of the way it was, right? It was easier then. I used to be able to just put a post and I got a sale from it, whatever. We're remorseful of where it was, or we're frustrated because we're not sure where we need to be. And many of us are either clawing and kind of fighting, doing the same old, guilty. or we're waiting or looking for something outside of us to save us, right? I need inspiration. I need to know what to do. I need you to tell me what strategy. I need this. I need that. And that it's external around us. And what he reminded me of is that the first place we have to be is to start with presence, always starting with presence of where we are. Because when we look back, right, we get into that sense of lacking, mourning. It means that something's lacking from where we are, that we don't have what we need. And when we get ahead to where we should be, or we're looking left and right and we're thinking that they've got it easier and I'm the only one sitting here, we're in comparison. And our brain is just working in overdrive, right? It can be emotionally exhausting to be in these spaces. And that was what hurts a lot of us, is this business can actually feel emotionally exhausted. You might feel burnout. You might feel that. And so that reminder of presence was really, really important. Following that, I happened to sit in on Dr. A's Conscious Leadership Forum. And the reason this is all tying together is because you came to this call with the title of, reset, realign, right? And restart. So Dr. A, of course, just like Michelle was describing, is always spot on in talking about our ability. We are still the dominant force in our lives. This is what attracted us to Optavia. It is what moved us forward in our health initially. It is what helped us grow this business, right? It's when we realized, wow, my health dreams can come true. My my dreams for my family can come true. My career dreams can come true. Once we had this belief, right, that we had that, that we were, that is what brought us together. And then now things have shaken, the egg carton has been shaken and we're sitting in a different space, again, looking for that security, that control that we had before. And it's not, we feel like it's not there. And he used the words, and he wasn't talking specific to Optavia. On the Conscious Leadership Forum, he is not speaking specific to Optavia. But what he said is we tend to look at it's out there. What I need is out there. And he said, and I've said this quote a few times if you've been with me in the last week, but what he said, I just couldn't shake it. He said, and you might want to write it down. He said, true freedom only comes when we decide we're not going to suffer anymore. So true freedom only comes when we decide we're not going to suffer anymore. So this is where we are, right? It is what it is. So now what? So there's somebody else I'm going to refer to as well, but let me see if I can share my screen here, because I have a couple of images to show you. But this just stuck out to me. And we hear these things, but it's like, why do we not take it to heart? Slideshow from beginning. Oops, let me go back. That as we're looking for a reset and a restart, it comes to acceptance and the question of what if everything in this moment in your life is actually whole, perfect, and complete. It's a culmination of changes in the industry, changes in the economy, changes in Optavia. It's also a culmination of choices in what we made and how we were going to respond to it. What were we going to do? Did it impact our action? Did it impact our consistency? Did it impact our belief? And all of that comes together, and none of it really matters at this point. But what if you have everything you need right now? Right? And then the decision is, what do you want to do to move forward? So then I sat in on a summer success series with Kristen Boss, and she was talking about Kristen Boss is a industry guru for direct sales marketing. So not specific to Optavia, she is across the industry. And she always comes out with specific sales strategies and sales, do this and you will get this return, do this and get whatever. And she was the first to say that doesn't exist right now. We're in a constant state of evolvement, but there's a true root gap. And the true root, and she calls it an epidemic, is an epidemic of lack of belief. And that is something I think I was convicted on of myself. And I want you to think about this in a couple of ways with yourself. But where is your belief in your own personal health and our program? Because I know sometimes myself, voices can get in my head like, hey, if I can't even stick to this, if I'm slipping up, how am I going to share this with others? How can I expect other people to be attracted to this, right? So I'm starting this loop pattern in my brain. If I'm struggling in my business, how could I bring somebody in, right? Because then how would they, right? So we start these loop patterns that are not necessarily true, but the root of it is belief and a lack of belief. So I want to share something with her when she talked about, and then when there's lack of belief, what it can lead to is lack of priority and lack of action in our business and consistency. And so I'm trying to think of the order I want to do this. So I just want to show, she had this really great feedback loop that she talked about. I'm hoping you guys can see this. And so here's an example of what we could be saying this. Your words may be different, your words may be specific, but her words are, we tell ourselves it is so hard to have success in network marketing in 2024. Okay? We're telling ourselves it is so hard right now, which leads to a low belief in what we're offering, whether it's the program, the business, our own potential in this business. So we have high doubt, low confidence, low buy-in, which can then lead to the why bother work ethic, right? And maybe we're doing this consciously or not consciously, but like, what am I doing here, right? And we get in our head about it, which can actually lead to lack of consistency, lack of effort. Just blink at me if any of this resonates with you, right? I'm seeing some fluttering eyes right now. Thank you. So we have that lack of, and I'm so guilty of this, you guys. I am not immune to, and nobody in this industry is immune to it. But then we have that lack of consistency, the lack of effort, lack of belief, lack of consistency, lack of effort, which guess what? Results in low growth in your paycheck, maybe a drop in your paycheck, less customers, less team members joining, right? So that energy is going down. And then we have less people that are winning on our team pages, less people getting on stage, less people earning new ranks. So we've started a cycle, and guess what we've done? It's a loop. We've reinforced that initial belief. It is so hard. But is it a true statement? Or did that low belief actually affect how we show up in the world, the actions that we're taking, our ability to shift and pivot, come up with new ideas, etc.? So before I go any further with this and kind of what's next, Lauren Yeomans was willing to share with us tonight. And Lauren, I want to go back a week ago when you saw my post, kind of maybe even before that, what you've been going through, but a week ago when you saw there was a spot open in Fight Club, and then what's been evolving for you?
Yeah. Well, I'm at the pool, so thanks for great thing about what we do, right? But yeah, initially when I saw the information about the Fight Club a few weeks ago, I really honestly was just in a place of overwhelm and just didn't feel like I had the capacity for it. And then Dee posted last Wednesday, hey, I have a spot if anyone feels the nudge, and I felt the nudge. So I think I just was in a place where I knew that I needed or wanted to be with other people that were in a space of wanting to grow. And I think that it's easy to feel in a place of defeat and just to feel like, I don't want to say what's the point, but a little bit of I was just kind of feeling a little bit of apathy. And so, and then honestly, during the Fight Club, I think it was just so refreshing to be in a safe space and hear other people being vulnerable about where they are too, and just to realize that we're not alone. And it also was just really encouraging to kind of get some fresh ideas and I think it also something that I've been noticing in my own life that I want to focus more on is exactly what you're talking about, Z, tonight, is just being in the present and not looking back unless you're looking back to learn and to move forward. Um, but also realizing that it is okay. It is okay to be where we are. And it is okay to just do the next thing and enjoy it. And so I think something I've been focusing on is just being intentional and really finding the joy in what I'm doing. And also coming from a space of gratitude, and actually got emotional on the which you guys know I tend to do sometimes, but got emotional on the Fight Club call, just thinking about the gratitude of how different my life looks because of Optavia, and just the freedom that I have and the flexibility and the even the I guess the skill set that I have because of coaching, the ability to connect to people, the ability to build relationships and go deeper. And so anyway, I'm just in this place of just feeling really grateful and feeling hopeful. And not in a place of wanting to give up, but just in a place of really feeling hopeful and grateful for what I do have, and excited for what is to come. So yeah, thanks Steve for letting me share.
I love that, Lauren. Before you sign off, I wanted to see, I loved if we could just dive a little bit deeper into the gratitude, and then also how you were sharing the other day about how this is impacting how you're showing up.
Mhm.
The high level, like one thing that Lauren, you said was when you looked at your whiteboard, your dream board, which had not been updated in quite some time, it was very numbers driven. I want to have this volume. I want to have this many executive directors, very numbers driven versus heart driven. And kind of what you came to, that conversation you had with your girls, and then how you wanted to translate that back out into what you're offering to the world.
Mm. Yeah, well, it was, yeah, so my whiteboard hasn't been updated since May of 2023. Uh, and I noticed, yeah, I think during that call, just noticed like how it was so driven by rank or numbers or income or whatever. And I think I don't exactly remember what you're talking about with the conversation with my girls, but I think just really coming to a place of like when Dee asked us, what do we really want? It was more like I want to really focus on self-love and expressing that and allowing people to feel safe to also do the same. And I want to focus on freedom and flexibility. And that's when I got emotional, just talking about how grateful I am that I have a life that I truly love. And I know that it would not have, the stores would not have been opened if it wasn't for Optavia and thinking outside of the box and thinking differently. And just like having, I want joy, I want purposefulness, I want intention, I want to have a life that's filled with hope. And yeah. And so I think just like shifting what I really want. And I think when I shift that, it makes me excited. Like I have goosebumps right now. Like that is what I really want, and not just numbers, not just the next client or the next. And I think when you come with that energy is attractive. And what is it? What you focus on? Oh my gosh, you know the phrase, but
Grows. What you focus on grows, or something like that.
yeah, or like where your energy goes, your whatever the phrases, the
Yeah.
phrases, you guys. But anyways, so yeah, I think just having some shifts and where the focus is. Because I think, yeah, it's hard to do a map and look at what your maps were maybe a year or two ago. But instead, when you can focus on the people and focus on building the life that you want and what that looks like, and that this can absolutely play into that and be a huge part of it. And answer so many of those. Yes, thank you. Where the focus goes, energy flows. Thanks,
Energy
Lucy.
goes. Yeah. Love
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And it was just so beautiful how you had shared, like, having this conversation with your girls, like, wow, I can actually be swim team captain or
Yeah.
swim team captain, and I can be at your meets, and I can be here with you during the day. And I actually was shown through Optavia entrepreneurial spirit to actually start this floral business, right? And coming back to that, like, wow, I really do want two streams of income. And Optavia is a key part of that. And it provided all this freedom. And I want to give freedom and options to other people. And that was the same exact Lauren that built her business way back when, right? Those of you guys that work with her know she was the one that breathes life and hope into you, right? And so we can get so caught up in what's happening and what's happening with us and how we feel, right? Become very inward focused. And so it affects our action, how we show up. Frank, I don't disagree. Having a superstar on our team is great. How do we find it? In terms of how our energy is, how we show up, what the actions we're taking, right? We're going to find that person when we're out there with a belief system that attracts that person into the system, you know, right? And then it has that build that momentum. So the last slide I'll show, and if you guys like this conversation, we'll continue it because it's really about next week and what we do next. But I've got one more thing to share, and then I want to turn it back over to Meg. But she had her negative feedback loop. Kristen did. And then the next was the positive feedback loop. And when we come back to what it is that this has done for us, what our belief system is, when we believe, and I can't tell you to believe. I can't just say believe. This has to come from you, and doing some deep inner work on this. I mean, I would like you to just sleep on this and see what comes up for you in the morning for your gratitude. But when this industry can grow more with this business, this program, if we know it's still desirable, people still desire it, well, we come back to it with hope, with grit, with persistence. And guess what? That leads us to showing up consistently, following up, talking about the business, encouraging, inviting, right? All the things that build your business, right? That build a business. And this is a building of investment. You know, then we get those new customers, the new people, then the people inserting the ranks, right? And then the momentum begins. But the root of it all is our belief. And one of the things she said that really resonated and hit home with me, she said, the risk is relying on our results to tell us how we feel about our business, right? The risk is relying on the results, right? And if we're relying on our motivation and our excitement, that only exists about 10% of the time. It's just like with our health and doing other things, right? It's what we're doing 90% of the time because of commitment, consistency, grit, right? That brings those results. So beginning of the conversation is recognizing these loops in yourself, reassessing your belief system, and then we're going to move into our energy management next week and time. So Meg, I know you've got another thing to cover before we hop over to our watch party.
Absolutely. Dee, that was so great. And Lauren, thank you so much for your vulnerability and your share. I don't want to take any time away from learning this new tool. So if you haven't heard, Optavia is doing so great by putting so much money into marketing that we kind of overhauled our leads program. And if you are an associate director or higher that has done the training, that has one new client a month, and so it's the month prior, but one qualified new client, you are eligible to receive a lead. And the leads are actually something that you can see in your coach app. Sometimes they are emailing sometimes, but they really are trying to drive us to the coach app. That is where you will see all of them, and you'll see all of the leads you've ever received. So really, really helpful. So I wanted to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to share my iPhone screen real quick so you can see. Tell me, do y'all see it? Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
So shout out to Beth Bilton for helping us with tech support. But if you go down to the bottom, at the bottom, you see dashboard, performance, teams, clients, and profile. If you click clients, right here, what comes up is candidates. See how you can see candidates, all candidates 46. Hopefully you see that. When you click on it, it brings up all of the candidates. So here, May 9th, this was a new candidate that Beth got, Wendy. And if she were to click on it, it gives her phone number, her email. And what I love is you can write notes to yourself that really you just see, but you can remind yourself, okay, call them, or I called her on this date. I left her a message, whatever the case may be. But there's a whole place for notes there in your app. I want to pause now and see if there are any questions that come up. So you want to download the Coach app if you haven't already. It is blue and it says Optavia Coach. So download that, go to clients, and then candidates to see all of your leads from Optavia. And I'm going to check the chat to see, and I see that's 8 o'clock. So, and I know we want to let some clients in too. So y'all put your questions in the chat and we will go back to them next week. All right. So Dee,